Hey, it's Brian Mertens, and in this video, I'm going to share a really cool naturalist learning technique. It's one of the very first activities I ever did when I was first starting out on my journey into nature, and makes it easy for you to get outside and tune in with the natural world and start making some really cool discoveries. Even if you have no experience with nature, even if you're a total beginner and you know nothing about plants or birds or how to navigate a landscape without getting lost, you're going to be able to follow this very simple process and within a very short period of time, start using your five senses to read the forest ecology, the plants, the trees, the birds, and build a really practical and in-depth knowledge of the natural world. We're going to do this in a way that is really fun, because all you have to do is take one look at your standard field guide and it becomes immediately apparent that there is an overwhelming amount of information that you could learn about plants and birds and things like weather, all the way down to extremely refined details like Latin names. And this massive amount of information is great, but it can also be a big barrier. And, a lot of people miss out on the real joy of nature study because their only exposure to it has been overly academic, and that can really suck the fun out of it. Nature is not meant to be something that is boring, and when you take the right approach, it really can be an endless source of entertainment as well as a pathway towards living a more green future. But rather than gaining this knowledge through books, I want to show you how to experience something that I believe is much more foundational to real naturalist study, and that is how to learn about nature just by getting curious and paying attention with your eyes and ears to what's happening around you. And to explain what I mean by this, I want to present the only formula you will ever need to build a very deep understanding of nature. And it goes like this: time in nature plus sensory awareness equals naturalist IQ, right? So it's one thing to read about red squirrels in your field guide and get an idea of how to identify a red squirrel and the different field markings. It's a whole other thing to actually watch that squirrel with your own eyes as it raids your bird feeder and see what kind of foods it likes and how it responds to the birds or even predators like a neighborhood cat. The depth and detail that you get from taking the time to observe that squirrel with your own eyes and ears is so much greater than what you get from simply looking in a field guide. And if you can just start going into nature and use your sensory awareness to make real life observations about whatever it is that makes you most curious in that environment, with just that little bit of effort, you can actually start tuning in with nature and making discoveries on a whole new level. And it's a much more fun and engaging way to learn. Now, one of the important things that I want to say here is that you can literally do this in as little as 5 minutes, if that's truly all the time that you have. It's not about the quantity of time that you spend outside, it's about the quality of time. So, it doesn't matter where you are in the world or what kind of landscape you live in, this same basic formula works in your backyard, it works out in the forest, it even works in the middle of a big city, because it simply depends on you focusing just a little bit more on using your senses consciously in nature. And that one simple shift will profoundly impact the quality of experience you have outside. So, I vividly remember the first time I actually did this and made a conscious effort to go outside and pay attention in nature. And I went for a walk along this little trail near my home, and I was amazed by how much activity there was all around me. And, I had been walking on this trail for years, but I had simply never taken the time to notice the trees and the plants and the little bumps and dips in the forest floor. And it really opened my eyes to a whole new way of experiencing nature. I want you to imagine being out in your backyard and taking just 5 minutes every day to practice seeing, hearing, feeling, and sensing what's happening around you on the landscape. Just imagine what you could learn about the plants and the trees and the animals living right outside your own home if you just took the time to stop and pay attention. I want you to ask yourself, is it worth 5 minutes to start the process of connecting with plants and trees and looking at how nature works? Is it worth 5 minutes to have a moment of closeness with some birds or a squirrel and get that heart-pumping feeling of excitement and aliveness? Is it worth 5 minutes to expand your awareness and discover things happening in your own backyard that inspire you for the whole rest of your day? If you're sitting there thinking, yeah, it's totally worth 5 minutes of my time to get outside and build that deeper connection with nature, here's what I want you to do. Sometime either today or over the next few days, make a decision that you're going to go outside and sit down somewhere and just spend 5 minutes paying conscious attention in nature. Use your eyes and your ears. Use your sense of smell. Use your sense of touch. Watch the wind rustling in the leaves. Listen to the birds. Look at all the different shapes and colors around you. What can you feel on your skin? And notice how simply being more aware of nature really changes your experience outside. I promise if you do this, then you're going to start noticing a whole lot more. And I think you'll find that once you start doing this, it just feels so good because your mind will become really clear and sharp. You'll start seeing things in nature that are completely new to you, and you'll really start moving along that journey of discovering nature on a deeper level, being able to read what's happening in the landscape around you. So I encourage you to make that decision and just spend some good time being aware of nature. If you're excited about doing more of these nature study activities and really building your knowledge of the outdoors, learning to look at what's happening around you and activate your mental capacity to observe, interpret, predict, and apply your naturalist intelligence, I also have a guided audio learning program that will take you through a whole series of lessons, techniques, and strategies for switching on your wilderness instincts through very simple observation techniques and activities that are really fun and easy to do, even in your own backyard. And if you want to actually get some good nature study habits and routines going in your life, there will be a link below this video to where you can get details about that program. The program is called Awaken Your Naturalist Intelligence, an audio guide to switching on the natural genius potential of your human brain. So you can read the secrets of a forest and make predictions about your local landscape. Just click the link below this video and you'll find all the program information right there. I do think it'll be well worth your time to go see whether that program can help you with your nature study goals. So I hope you go check it out, and thanks so much for tuning in with me today and watching this presentation. As always, I really do appreciate you taking the time to watch and listen to what I have to share with you. So I hope you got a lot out of it, and I will talk to you next time.